Data art, the quantified self. My project is to create artistic representations of the quantified self through data art and visualizations. I'd like to explore the creative potential of the actual physical forms of the numbers that make up my personal data. For my research, I have been exploring the artistic representation of my personal data and creating data art, but my work is almost entirely artistic visualizations rather than pragmatic ones, and I aim for the pieces I produce to be relatable but to be completely abstract. I have created a key of the numbers 0 to 9, abstract versions of these numbers, and I'm using these abstractions to represent my data. This abstraction tells a more interesting story and they turn a mundane data set into a piece of art. Here they are as illustrations. I would like to show during my exhibition one of these abstract shapes being formed to show the sort of creation of how I got from a simple number to the abstract shape. I was inspired to create this key by the artist Stephanie Posavec, as she did that for her data visualization of books, showing the characteristics of a book. I'm really influenced by pattern design in my work, as it gives my data patterns an organic and handmade feel, and I would like to see them turned into wall projections or 3D prints on walls in my home and be recyclable or digitally updatable. For my research paper, I looked at the artists Laurie Frick and Nicholas Felton, two artists who are using personal data as a source of their data art. Here is a quote from Laurie Frick. We could have human data portraits as art on our walls, mindfulness made tangible. Will this mindfulness and observation add a little fuel to our psyche? Will self reflection using real data calm you down, soothe you, help you sleep, etc.? Maybe, but with experimentation, that's the only way we will know. Nicholas Felton is also another artist I researched, also working on personal data and visualizing that data. This quote the quote by Laurie Frick, as I said before, is what is the essence of how I feel about data art. We go through cycles in mood, health, activity, etc., but we're completely unaware of what is repeated. We can't rely just on memory to learn from these cycles. And I think that artistic representations of our data can go a long way to help us in that area. I chose to use the app called Moves to record data of my walking week. So this was a completely passive app. The data was very relatable and usable. I explored in my research paper different ways of collecting data, and I learned that this process is actually a very big part because it's what's part of making a particular data visualization successful. In the future, I hope that more tracking will be invisible and entirely passive. As you can see, the Move app visualize my personal data by simply creating circles of different sizes to represent how many miles, steps, or for how long I had walked in a day. Here is an example of how I've used the sort of data set using my abstract shapes. I've created a representation of a walking week. I intend to show this in my exhibition as a projection on a wall. So this is something I envisage as living wallpaper the user can observe from afar, both for its aesthetic quality and for the data that it holds. Secondly, I've been working on birth data. So the date on which you were born interests me, and the concept of having a simple pie chart where you compare different birth dates of a family. It was something that I was interested in doing. It's a proportional area chart and can be any shape. So I've chosen the triangular shape as I was interested in the way it resembled the shapes of butterflies. Here is an example of a piece I've produced showing the larger triangle butterfly wing as either the 100% of a year, a month, or a century. And each slice of the triangle, as you can see here, represents the percentage of which your birth date falls under. I'm still working on this, so it's very much work in progress. As you can see, there are some different sort of versions of that I've been playing around with. Lastly, I would like to create a piece of data art from the scans during my pregnancy. This again is very much work in progress. I have a record of all my pregnancy scans and the different sizes that the baby was in the womb. So I'd like to use these measurements to create an abstract laser cutting similar to some work done by an artist called Paolo Scheggi, which I really like. So layering some of the abstract forms, producing a piece of data art from that data. This is an example of the idea I have for my exhibition presentation. Thank you very much.